joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
12 minutes from the downtown area. The property has such an amazing opportunity to be a year-round opportunity.
For sure.
And we do that now with school trips and the science and conservation work and some of the things that we do with our elementary and high school kids with the ropes courses, and there's retreats that happen there and meetings and events like what's happening soon.
This is a special second episode for the week. We don't typically do this, but whenever we have a backlog and we're trying to get them out quickly, we give you extra episodes. We do release one episode every single Monday, and you can find this on all your favorite streaming services or at fortworthroots.com. You can find information on events and our sponsors at the end of the show. Today, we want to shout out one of our sponsors at the beginning of the show, Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. You can go to roofingsolutionshouk.com. Their number is 817-692-8496. And today's episode is intrinsically tied to an event we have coming up Saturday, April 22nd at the YMCA Camp Carter, located at 6200 Sand Springs Road, Fort Worth, Texas. Again, this is Saturday, April 22nd. Starts at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be live music. Last year we had 330 classic cars, over 88 vendors. Something around 10,000 people showed up to this thing. It's going to be incredible, and just the location is reason enough to go out there and check out this event. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that with our guest today. Again, that is going to be Saturday, April 22nd, and yes, Fort Worth Roots will be there. We'll have our banners up, taking pictures with people. Come see us. Our guest today is the president and CEO of Metropolitan Fort Worth. And today he has come out here to talk to us about YMCA Camp Carter and briefly tell you a little bit about himself and the event that we got coming up on April 22nd. That is enough talking out of me. Please give it up for our new friend, Mr. Mike Brown. Let's start the show. All right, so a busy day for you. What all did you do today?
Well, we have a lot going on. So, all the communities we work with. So we've been restructuring, realigning really where the Y is, both from a staff standpoint as well as just operations.
Right.
So it gets busy during this time of the year when we're getting ready for summertime and closing out programs. And so it just it adds.
So you're missing some sleep.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Well, we're going to dive into that a little more here in a minute. I kind of put some show notes together, which is not totally typical lately, but I wanted to make sure we got this all covered correctly. So I've got you, Mike Brown, President and CEO of Metropolitan Fort Worth, with us today.
Yes, it's the official name is YMCA of Metropolitan Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yep.
And what area does that cover? Is it the entire Fort Worth area? Is it specifically a region of Fort Worth?
Yeah, so our Y is over all of Tarrant County except Arlington.
Okay.
And then that includes Fort Worth and many other cities and communities.
Right.
And then also Johnson County and Parker County. And then we are in the process of adding 10 additional counties, south, west, and north.
And you have all of Tarrant?
Yes.
That is a lot.
All of Tarrant except Arlington, because Arlington's in Tarrant. Yeah.
Yeah, just a piece of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man. So it's we have 10 physical branches, 12 total branches when you count, and then about 55 locations as far as programming. And then we are now looking at YMCAs in many other counties, whether that's a mobile YMCA or a leased space or a partnership or even building new ones.
Now, with that big of an area and that many properties to oversee, I imagine everybody's got something specific they do at their particular location, right?
They do. So, yeah.
So I was going to ask you what kind of is the mission statement for your region, but it's probably all encompassing, right?
Yeah, so our mission is to put Christian principles into practice through programs, services, and relationships that build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. Okay. So a lot of people, when they hear that, some people have this history with Young Men's Christian Association, which is actually what the YMCA was.
Right.
175 years ago.
Okay.
But obviously, in today's world, the Y has certainly made the changes to accommodate all of our communities. So I always tell people it's to put Christian principles into practice, but we may be a Christian organization, but we are not an organization of Christians.
Right.
Everybody is welcomed. Everybody is welcomed on our staff, volunteers, as well as our membership.
Yeah. No locked doors.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Visalia, Tulare, in Tulare County, California.
Okay. Now, what area is that? Because that's
so that is Central Valley.
Okay.
So it's the place no one has heard about.
Okay.
Throughout my life, when I say I'm from California, they thought, "Oh, where's your blonde hair? Where's your surfboard? And you have nice weather." No, I lived in the valley, which is hotter than Texas.
Really?
And
you ever been to Terlingua?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, they get up there.
Yeah.
And then, that's where your oranges, a lot of cotton, all kinds of, a lot of your walnuts.
Okay.
As well as.
So very rural, a lot of agriculture.
A lot of agriculture, a lot of dairy farms. It's a very, I always called it kind of a Western culture. Yeah. But nobody knows about that part of California unless they've been there.
Right, right. So what drove you to the professional side that landed you towards YMCA? Where did you kind of start your journey?
Yeah, so I've been all over, even as a child, moved around a lot. Went to high school in Narragansett, Rhode Island.
Okay.
Grew up mostly in California.
Little far from home?
Yeah, a little far. Grew up in California, but I think in 5th grade I was in Garland, Texas, then back to California, and then end of middle school and almost all of high school in Narragansett, Rhode Island, then back to California, and I graduated my junior year at a high school, Tulare Union High School.
What was with all the moving as a kid?
So my mom and dad divorced when I was younger.
Okay.
And, through a couple marriages, we were taken to different places.
I did that too.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people think, oh, was your family military?
Right,
like,
right.
No,
that's what I thought you were going to say.
A lot of transfers, a lot of, differences. But I made a decision to go back and be with my father and my stepmom in California when I was 17. And probably about a year and a half later, ended up at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And I've never left.
Okay. And what was your first job at the YMCA?
So I was I was a counselor in camps.
Yeah.
And worked for both day camps at the local level and then at Camp Tulakoya in the Sequoia National Park. It's about 18 and a half. Yeah.
Was that your first job?
No. I started working when I was about 14.
Okay. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I think I actually picked up my first job the day I turned 15. Like all the applications had been in. They got permission from my parents, and that's day one.
I actually had a paper route.
Okay.
So I delivered papers and then worked in a restaurant called Mary's Restaurant in Rhode Island, and then took a job at Denny's and did that for about 5 months and realized that restaurants were not going to be where I would be. And then really went to school to be a teacher. Got connected with the Y. I went to Y when I was little. So I'd grown up in the Y many times and in programs and mostly in camps and after school programs and so forth, and got a job. Actually, my first application with the Y, they denied me, and that was the resident
didn't know
camp.
what they were missing.
That's right. And then I went and applied in another division of that Y, and I got the job.
Yeah.
And then the other Y, or the other department, after they found out I worked there and saw what I was doing in our youth groups, asked me to come work camp, and I said, you denied me.
Yeah.
But no, I got my start there, and I was full-time. I think right at the end, I was 19, but almost 20. Full-time director position, and then I left when I was 24 after I got married and followed my boss to Houston and worked for the Houston YMCA in 3 different areas for about 6 years. And then at 28, I took the CEO position of a small Y in Gainesville, Georgia.
Wow.
There was no Y. It was a program. In the concept that people think the Y is a building, there was no Y, but there was a Y.
Huh.
It was one of the smallest Ys in the country.
And how does that work? You don't have a building to bring people to.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to teach people here.
Yeah.
When I came here a couple of years ago, is that we need to stop being defined by bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Because it's what we do, not necessarily what
Where
we
we do it.
have
Yeah.
or where we do it. Right. So, being somebody who started out as a CEO in a very small Y, I think there were 980 Ys in the country, and I was number 980.
Okay.
And so we had like 18 childcare centers, which were in schools doing after-school programs. We had summer camp at 5 locations. We had youth sports, baseball, football, basketball.
All without a building.
We did all those in churches, community centers, and in school cafeterias. Then we did some teen programs and really started to make a connection within the community, and then started to raise money to build our first facility. So we did that after, I think, my first 5 years there.
Wow.
I was in Georgia for about 9 years. I was also the youth pastor at a Methodist church. So I was CEO of a small Y, independent Y, and then a youth pastor of a Methodist church in Claremont, Georgia, and did that for about 7 years.
Do you have time for hobbies?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You like to stay busy, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do, and it's a fault of mine.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Yeah. So I, ended up leaving the church. We had 2 young children of our own, 5 and 7. And then adopted 2 teenagers.
Oh, wow.
Through that process. And
Not foster, adopted.
We adopted.
Okay.
I did not want to foster.
Yeah.
I wanted to only meet youth that parental rights were terminated, because I couldn't do the whole they're in one day and out the next.
Yeah.
So I took a job in Rockford, Illinois. I was told that, Forbes magazine just said that Rockford, Illinois is the 3rd most miserable city in America. And I said, great, sign me up.
That's where I belong.
Yeah, so I was there for about 7 years, and then took a job after 7 years. My boys stayed there, and then the 2 younger ones and my wife moved to Syracuse, New York, and I took a job of a large Y there. There's been a path, though, that I don't explain all the time, and when I was in Rhode Island at 17, I took about 180 pills in an attempt to end my life with an attempted suicide. And, people started listening, and my dad came and got me during that time. And teachers and, folks listened. And then, throughout life, I always wonder, like, what's next? And I'm always trying to prepare for other people, for my family, anybody. But then 9/11. When the towers were falling, I was called into the hospital. We were expecting our first child right at 38 weeks, and they were letting me know that he was not alive. So, unfortunately, family couldn't get to Houston because all the airports were shut down.
Right.
I always tell people during 9/11, a lot of tragedy happened, but we have to think about what happens when family can't get to family.
Yeah.
And so eventually people made it. My mom made it and so forth. But so we lost Nathan, and I took a job to get my wife home. And that was in Gainesville, Georgia, where there was a small Y. And so moved her there, had Abby and Colby, our 2 youngest, and had a great time. Really enjoyed it. Loved Rockford, met a lot of great friends. Went to Syracuse 6 months later. My wife was at the eye doctor, and that scan that they want you to pay $30 for?
Yeah.
I tell everybody, pay the money.
Yeah.
Because in that scan, they found a glioblastoma tumor in the back of her eye. And if you know what a glioblastoma is, you have about 14 months to live.
Oh, my God.
And so we were told that my wife was it's not something that you can cure. So she had 2 brain surgeries and died right at about 15 months. So during that time, I didn't get to do much at the Syracuse Y because I was constantly taking care of her. And anybody listening that knows what a glioblastoma is know that brings you down pretty quickly. So my kids at the time were 13 and 15 when they lost mom. It was right during when COVID was kind of making the news. My wife passed away. It'll actually be 3 years this month. And so during that time, I did resign from the Y and kind of took a small sabbatical. And the kids and I all discovered that New York was not where we wanted to live. And if anybody's been to Syracuse, it's 25 inches of snow and it's flipping cold, and we just weren't having it.
Yeah.
And so I said, if we're going to move, and the kids said, one more, Dad. This is it. And so I wanted to go back to Texas.
Awesome.
And found Fort Worth. Many people here in Fort Worth say I finally came home. So journey has been a rough one.
You know, I wanted to find time today to listen to our. We did a very short recording last year at the River Oaks Springfest Car Show, and I'm remembering some of this story. Now, we didn't go into this much depth, I'm glad you guys made it here, and I remember telling you that last time. Like, y'all found the right spot. I don't even have to ask you what you think. I know you picked the right spot.
You know what's really crazy is I met somebody here in Texas. Mm-hmm. We're getting married in August. Life is it's been fast.
Congratulations, man!
And my kids are absolutely love Stacy, and it's just been wonderful. So we're getting married in Mexico, taking the whole family, and we're just gonna get away. Cancun.
Okay.
So we've got 3 graduations, high school and college, between our kids. So family vacation, graduation, and a quick ceremony, and
nice.
Life is moving on.
Nice.
And I don't mean move on as if we won't remember, but as my kids say, Dad, it's time.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, Fort Worth has been good to you so
It
far.
has.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been great.
So glad to hear that, man. All right, well, we covered all the YMCA stuff. We just kind of went off on that. But I was really curious about your first position, because you hear a lot of people that I sit down with, CEOs, presidents, people that are higher up in a company. Sometimes they worked for a long time in another company and climbed the ladder.
Yeah.
And then they kind of make a lateral move over to another organization.
Right.
But you started from the bottom and worked your way all the way up.
Yeah.
And so that's really encouraging to hear, because you rally a lot more support from your subordinates that way, right?
Yeah. And you know, it really, every Y is its own 501c3 operation. So they're tied together in name, but they're completely different organizations, because the Y is owned by the community. Mm-hmm. And so you still have to apply for jobs that you go for.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the Y, is I could live anywhere I wanted and do anything I wanted. I didn't have to stay in the same place for 30 years.
Yeah, that's really
And I think that's what kept me here, you know. And I think, you know, whether you're in youth development or in any business, that you have international access, and the Y is in 130 countries. So you can go anywhere you want in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what languages you speak, maybe.
Right. Yeah, well, that probably does help. Yeah.
These translators are getting wild, though.
Right.
So
yes, they are.
Pretty soon, I don't know that we'll need.
I just put it on AI.
Yeah. just switch that chip in your head over to AI and let it do the work.
Right.
So I wanted to cover a little bit about River Oaks Springfest Car Show 2023. Last year was a crazy success. Do you know the head count from last year?
Like, I know it was over 1,200 people, and it might have been more.
So the guy.
So off the top of my head, I don't know the exact number. But
there's so much space out there that whenever I heard the number, I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
But the guy that was counting heads at the gate counted 7,000 people before he just gave up counting.
Right.
He's like, "That's enough."
Yeah. So when I was there, I felt like, oh, this looks like about 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
Just so and I heard that astronomical number too.
Yeah.
You have to think they weren't all there at once.
No, they
weren't. So people were coming and going and enjoying it and enjoying the festival, the music, the car show, and then leave, and somebody else was coming.
Yep.
So the traffic was heavy the entire time. Yeah.
So I was told, and correct me if this is bad intel, but there were zip lines going and kayaking and horseback riding.
Yeah.
See, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah. So we have we have an equestrian center at camp. So the horses were out.
But that's how big this place was. I was right in the middle. I saw none of that.
Zip lines on the other side of the lake.
Yep.
Some people were fishing, I think. I mean, it just was a really good time for everyone.
Yeah.
There was something to do for everyone, and I have a feeling this year is going to be even better.
I think so. Yeah. Because we really didn't know what we were getting into last year.
Yeah.
And I was I wasn't much help, but I was trying to help as much as I could.
Sure. Yeah.
But the community really pulled together. There were so many different organizations out there that were participating in making that thing a success.
Right.
And I know that we tried to get the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile back this year. I think maybe they had other plans, but we've got everything else that we had last year and more.
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, and I think the thing I kept hearing is people were like, I had no idea this was here.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is you're going to drive through a whole bunch of residences and kind of an older road, and then you're going to be welcomed into about a 400-acre piece of property called YMCA Camp Carter, and it's crazy.
And that's what I try to tell everybody is, like, you don't understand, like, just this location is worth venturing out to on a Saturday.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of Fort Worth, 11th largest city in the world, right?
That's right. Yep.
And whenever you get into the tree line of Camp Carter, that's all gone.
Yeah.
You're just in the middle of wilderness.
People don't understand that 10 minutes, I think it took me 13 minutes from my office downtown, and all of a sudden you're in this beautiful area that you can just forget everything else.
Right.
So, yeah.
So the rebranding process that we kind of talked about, I think we spoke about this last year. I know that it's been kind of on my mind, and I've been wanting to connect with you, but you're a busy dude.
Yeah.
And so I was just waiting patiently for us to get a chance to talk about that. What are we shifting from, and what's it going to turn into with this rebranding process out there at Camp Carter?
Yeah, so we're really looking at everything we do and trying to really think of camp beyond summer. Around this time, there's so much that happens. And when you're, 30 minutes from the airport, when you're 12 minutes from the downtown area, the property has such an amazing opportunity to be a year-round opportunity. And we do that now with school trips and, the science and conservation work and some of the things that we do with our elementary and high school kids with the ropes courses, and there's retreats that happen there and meetings and events like, what's happening soon, and then summer camp. And so we have not rebranded it in name yet, because it is a part of the M. and Carter Foundation.
Right.
And
we're not going to lose the name.
No, but we are really going to look at what is the 12-month opportunity here. Because if our companies know that they have a retreat center where they can stay overnight,
right,
and there's a full kitchen and lodge and all kinds of activities to do, this really can be a place nearby that folks can come to, whether it's a day, half day, or even overnight. And so
kind of like a business retreat situation.
Yeah. I mean, we have a chapel there, and some people get married at Camp Carter, and then we have ropes course and team building programs. We've had more than 250 military individuals that are there helping to work and improve camp and improve roads.
Y'all have kind of a deal worked out with
we do.
Carswell?
Yeah, they're very much a part of
cool.
what we do at camp.
Okay.
So
for our listeners that don't know, Camp Carter is located, y'all almost share a fence, right? With the base out here?
Yes, with the base.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's the opportunity is there. We hired, I believe, Ricky either just started or was coming.
Oh yeah, Ricky, and he has an accent, right?
Yes, he has an accent. Australia.
Yeah.
And so Ricky has now been here officially a year, and so this will really be his first summer that he had the opportunity to plan and be ready. So camp has improved in the numbers, and certainly on the finance side, that's helping us keep it going. There was a time that I was concerned we weren't going to keep it open.
Yeah.
And Ricky has really turned that around.
That's awesome.
So he's excited. He's really working hard to do the master planning for the future, capital campaign to reinvent and reinvest in that property. But we've got to get the master plan done, and we had a consultant. Now we've kind of are on the search for the next to help us with kind of the strategic plan and the development of that property.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's just one
And that's
facility.
just one location. Yeah. That's one location. If you haven't been to camp, though, it is worth coming to this event.
Yeah.
Because you can see it in action, and parents, everybody, they have no idea that this is available.
Yeah. It's such a wonderful location.
Yeah.
It really is. And again, that's going to be April 22nd. Don't remember the start time, but I think it's at 11 o'clock. There'll be more information on that. You can go to the River Oaks Springfest Car Show page on Facebook. They also have a website. I'll put that in the show notes. But yeah, this is going to be an excellent event. And Mike, should we go ahead and tell them how much tickets are?
Sure, go ahead.
It's complimentary, folks. The fee has been paid for you. Okay, I've learned you don't call stuff free anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah. It's a paid for event. Like, people have already paid for the event for you. So, what else? What's YMCA going to do differently this year out there at the car show?
Well, as I think that, I thought about it on the way up here. Ricky, I should have had Ricky come with us.
Well, we can get Ricky on.
and Ricky could really complement our talk, because he's been working with everyone to plan this.
Yeah.
Last year, we had vendors, we had activities, we had music, we had awards, we had the car show, and there were tons of cars, beautiful cars.
300 and something.
Yeah,
cars,
it was amazing, and then, like you said, there was horseback riding, and you can sit and have food and just watch the different bands that were playing. It really is a good time for the whole family if they want to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't know every vendor that's on the list, but
last year we had 88.
Yes. Yep.
And I was told, I believe, that all of those vendors are coming, and then we had a lot more new sign up.
Yeah.
So
one of the vendors I can't remember, they were making coffee and lattes, and I got a nice coffee and then walked, and there were arts and crafts. Gladney was there, educating people about foster care and adoption. You were there,
Casa Manana was
interviewing,
right? Not Casa Manana. Casa of Tarrant County was there with them too.
Everybody has been really responsive and wants to be a part of this.
Yeah. And I think probably you're going to end up in a situation where it's going to become a week-long event eventually.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it's so incredible.
It could, yeah.
That I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Well,
if you want to see amazing cars, meet great people, and just have a good time with your family, it is the place to be.
And Fort Worth Roots will be there. We'll have our banner set up, and you guys can come take pictures with us and hang out. Are there any other organizations that you deal directly with on a regular basis? Kind of like you just mentioned Gladney. Are there other organizations like that you are closely working with?
We work a lot with our cities, our school districts. Organizationally, there are many partners that get involved, businesses. We do teen nights at some of our branches where we open up the Y late. And so, there's pizza shops and restaurants and folks that are sponsoring and supplying food, and we always welcome people to do that. We announced last year that the Y has to do this differently, and that means not do it by ourselves. So we are always open to partners coming in and being a part of what we do, or us being a part of what they do. So in Gladney's situation, we don't run this.
Yeah.
We just know that we have access to thousands of people that we can educate around foster care and adoption, and help Gladney find homes for kids.
Yeah.
When there's over 25,000 kids that don't have a place to live in the state of Texas, the Y can at least be a partner and help educate people on that. But any partner that we have, school districts are big, cities are big. They've invested in communities and have helped us build Ys or build programs. A lot of foundations have worked with us, but even the police department works with us. So we're open to all partners.
Awesome. Yeah, Hope Local was on the show not too long ago. We actually recorded that out at Camp Carter, and the statistic they gave me was we have X number of churches in Texas, and we have X number of children looking for homes, and the number of churches outweighed the number of children. And so if you do the math, if every church sponsored one child, there would be no more issues.
So I've said the same thing. And
Isn't that
so
crazy?
I look at it as let's get the Y partnering probably with more than just Gladney.
Yeah.
And educate families. Let's bring it to them, in their communities instead of having them go to someone else.
Yeah.
And then let's do it right in Fort Worth, and then let's get the other 50 Y associations in Texas to partner locally as well.
Yeah.
Get our churches involved. I always say we can put the foster care system out of business.
Yeah. You could. You really could. It's all Y-ran now.
Yeah. Well, 25,000 kids and millions of people in Texas, and we can't find homes.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell our listeners before we get out of here?
I would just tell people that the Y is doing some great things, and if they ever want to learn, talk, be a part of anything that's going on, and then if we're having any issues, we are great with feedback. So we are not perfect at all we do, but I can tell you in the 2 years I've been here, we are moving forward.
Yeah. Where should they go primarily to get information on what we talked about today?
So you can go to our website. It's ymcafw.org.
Okay.
And you can just click on the camp, and it'll take you to the camp page and give you more information.
Okay.
I'll make sure, actually, when I get to work in the morning, that I make sure that there's something on the front page of what I just gave you. So ymcafw.org is our main website.
Okay.
But I'll make sure we get something on there so it's an easy click and you can find out what's going on.
Perfect. And then this, of course, is your Instagram, YMCA Camp Carter. Y'all had another one I saw. It was YMCA Metropolitan or something like that.
Yes, the Fort Worth Y has it, but Camp has websites and Instagram, and most of our branches do.
Very cool. Very cool. Last set of questions I got. These are the favorites. Favorite live music, places to eat, other hangout spots. Do you have a live music spot you like to check out? When you're not running around doing all this work?
So my fiance loves music. So she is introducing me into the band culture.
Nice.
I was a huge Kenny Rogers guy.
Okay.
So I went to 17 concerts. And
17 Kenny Rogers concerts?
Oh, yeah. And then, and have talked to him on the phone and he called me, actually. Yeah, when I was a Y guy, because he showed up at one of my Ys.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was in Houston. But then I'm also, back then was, Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson, Prince, I was all over the place.
Right.
My dream concert was all of them together. It's not possible anymore.
No.
But
It'd be wild, though.
I love to go listen to music. So,
is there a venue that y'all frequent?
No. Honestly, no. I have not been to, is it Billy Bob's?
Yeah, not
I haven't gone there yet.
Yeah.
I've been trying. Like, I've been to all the big venues to see different concerts. We saw Garth Brooks when he was here.
Okay, yeah.
That wasn't my favorite venue because it's just the place is so big.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't the sound wasn't that good.
Did you say American Airlines?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dickies is pretty cool.
Yeah, I have been to Dickies, but not for a concert.
For those big national acts. Now, there's a lot of really great live music, and if you ever need a suggestion on where to go, the Fort Worth Roots Facebook page is just littered with it.
Oh, yeah. So Stacy has taken me to a few. I just can't recite.
Yeah.
I can't cite who they are. She likes local bands.
Okay.
And so that's the path and journey I am now on.
Well, it's a fun one, and you're never going to run out of something to do.
That's right.
There's live music every night at some location.
Yeah.
How about favorite places to eat?
Gosh, everyone gets mad at me when I say this, but my favorite is Papacitos.
Well, I'm not mad at you. It's delicious.
But they don't understand. I came to Houston, it was Papacitos, and then I left, and you can never find it again.
Oh, really?
So when I got here, it was awesome to be able to go. But
that's a Texas thing.
It is.
Okay.
Yes, and I love Mexican food. Probably not as much as all of you do.
Yeah.
Because it seems like
we live on it. Yeah.
I mean, for every 20 Mexican restaurants, I might be able to find something else.
Yeah.
Big sushi, sushi guy, and then love Italian food. And I've been to one Italian restaurant because I can't find any.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the north where it was all Italian, so you couldn't find Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
So.
And
Tex-Mex is very different than the Mexican food I had in California.
Oh, yeah. No, so I had a buddy that was telling me, he was from California, and he kept telling us that, Tex-Mex doesn't have anything on Cali Mexican food. So I tried it when I got there, and it was good, but it wasn't Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
So it wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So where do I frequent and go to the most would probably be a better answer.
Yeah.
And I got to say it's downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I just walk out of my office and just go find a restaurant. And so, there's all kinds of, local restaurants that I try to frequent. So I hit most of them most of the time.
You ever hit up Lonesome Dove?
I have, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely my favorite.
But I even like the market over on 7th Street. It's kind of a grocery store / restaurant. Kind of small, but they have some great food there. And Instant Bowl, is that what it's called? Mediterranean food. I mean, there's just all kinds of options if you walk around.
Right.
Little hamburger joints, all kinds of things. But
Okay. Well, next time we have you on, you'll have to have a solid answer for live music venues.
I will. Give me some time to get around, and I will. I'll let you know who the local favorite is.
Perfect. I'm going to try to get this out really quick. So we're going to keep it short today.
All right.
But Mike, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to April 22nd for the River Oaks Springfest car show. I know that's going to be awesome. I'll stick around after it's all over. I'll help pick up trash.
All right.
I know that's a thing, right?
Yeah. Everybody. When you come, pick up trash. Everyone.
Yeah. Everybody leave with something. All right. Fort Worth Roots, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, and thank you to our guest today, Mr. Mike Brown, the President and CEO of Metropolitan Fort Worth. Man, that was a short episode, but we packed a lot of information into that. This guy has had quite the journey getting to Fort Worth, and I'm glad that we got another good citizen here with us, making a difference in the community. I'm rushing this one. I had everything hot and ready and going, so I was like, let's just do it. I'll do the intro, I'll do the outro, we'll put this together. April 22nd is coming up really fast, so I wanted to just go ahead and do the thing, get it out to you. I've already got one episode this week, but now you get two. And I've got that backlog that I'm still trying to clear, so you're going to get surprise episodes, just kind of all over the place. And you know what? This is a great palate cleanser after the Monday episode we released with the JJTM guys, right? Yes. The answer is yes. Okay. Where are we at? Let's do sponsors real quick. I already told you about Roofing Solutions by Darren Houk. You can go to roofingsolutionshouk.com. Their phone number is 817-692-8496. And you get 50% off of a roofing tune-up by telling them you heard about them here on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Houk Walker Originals. You can go to houkwalker.com. They offer a huge variety of unique and personalized gifts. Also laser engraving to customize just about anything you can think of. They do great work. Angela did the custom mugs for us at our last September event, and they were amazing. They do all sorts of custom stuff, so keep Fort Worth dollars in Fort Worth pockets. If you need a custom gift idea or you need something personalized for the house or the office, go check them out, houkwalker.com. Woodpost Metalworks, woodpostmetalworks.com. Use offer code podcast817 at checkout. I've been dropping stuff on the Fort Worth Roots Facebook page with all their new designs that they've been putting out. These people are busy. They are super busy, but it's because they put out incredible stuff. They specialize in metal signs with or without LED backlighting, fence and gate repair or installation, light steel fabrication, industrial plasma cutting, and more. Again, that's woodpostmetalworks.com. Our new sponsors, McFly's Pub. This place is awesome. If you haven't been out there, it's just outside the east gate of the base over here on Meandering. The actual address is something totally different. But if you are in River Oaks and you're on that main drag, you turn on to Roberts Cutoff and you head the, which way do you go there? Well, if you're going towards the base and you're going through that intersection, you'd take a right. If you're heading away from the base, you would take a left. And then you hit Meandering, hang a left there, and you just keep going until you see Marty McFly hanging off the edge of the building. He's just kind of sitting up there perched, waiting on you. You walk inside, there's just all sorts of cool stuff all over the place. Murals and different stuff they've picked up, reminiscent from the 80s culture and the Back to the Future scene. Lots of cool stuff. But the drinks are great, the vibe is awesome, and they have an incredible patio area. There's a really badass fire pit in the back. And I've spent way too much time sitting in front of that thing, having great conversation with awesome people. Live music there quite a bit, and there's always events. There's a Easter egg hunt coming up April 22nd at 9 p.m. So here's the move. You go to the River Oaks Springfest car show. You make a day of it. It's a lot of fun. Maybe you go get some lunch, hang out. Maybe you already had lunch at one of the food trucks that's going to be out there. And then you can head over to McFly's for their little Easter thingy, Easter egg hunt. Let me make sure I've got those informations right. I think that's right. If not, I'll tell you again on the next episode because I do not have it in front of me. But it is April 22nd. I think that's right. Okay. And then Pouring Glory. Don't forget about our homies over there. Best burger in town. It's not just my opinion. They won awards in the Fort Worth Weekly. Yeah. I only hang out with people that won awards in the Fort Worth Weekly. I think that's true. Anyway, they won an award too. Their food is amazing. They've got beer on tap. And they also have a really awesome patio area. Andrew, why do you have 2 bars? Well, they offer 2 entirely different products. They offer 2 entirely different vibes. And they are located on 2 different sides of town. Pouring Glory is over there by Main at Southside's old location. Main Street, south of I-30, and about 3 blocks west of I-35. Right there. You found it. Pouring Glory. You know, you can just look these places up. You just type in Pouring Glory into your navigation. It'll pull it right up. That's how you do that. Anyway, go check them out. When you get there, find Scott. If you don't see him, ask for him. Say, I want to see Scott. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. And then just introduce yourself and tell him you heard about him on the 4 with Roots podcast. You got to do that. It's a big part of it. You don't have to do that. You do not have to advertise for me. But you do need to go check out my friends. All right. That's all of that. And then we got events. You know, this weekend, Friday and Saturday, the Psychedelic Panther Music Festival starts at 4 p.m. at Lola's, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to be there. I'll have it all set up, and you can come take pictures and hang out. If you got a good joke to tell or a story to tell, you can sit down with me and jump on the Roadcaster. So if you've ever wanted to do something on the Roadcaster, anytime I'm at one of these events, you can just bug me. Say, hey, I got this story about this one thing. I'll be like, sit down, put on the headset, let's go. I will definitely ask you for a picture. And, yeah, it'll be good. So, again, that's Lola's. That is this weekend, Friday and Saturday. There's going to be a ton of bands. There's going to be 2 stages. If you've never been to Lola's, it's a great location. Cool food. Great beer. I should have said that the other way around. Great food, cold beer. Anyway, good deal. All right. And then April 20th, the 420 event, that's on a Thursday. I am still working on some details for you on that, but Denver Williams is going to be there. Great musician, great local musician. And there's going to be a few of his homies playing with us, I think. So check that out. It's going to be good stuff. And then fast forward right after that, we'll be doing the River Oaks Springfest Car Show. So we've talked about that enough today. I'm not going to bore you anymore with more details on that. Okay. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you ever want to hit me up, the phone number will be in the show notes, and you can leave messages. That's always fun to do. So, all right. You're the best. I love you. This is, it's got to be short. It's got to be short and sweet so we can get this out. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye.